Welcome back to NHL Live. Don LeGrec and EJ Raddick taking you up until the top of the hour. Eddie Olchuk is going to join us coming up at 1:20 Eastern Time. But David Boreanaz is here from the show Bones. You can catch it here in the States Mondays, 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Fox. He was born in Buffalo, but I guess he grew up in Philadelphia and is a huge Flyer fan, and he joins us here on NHL Live. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. It was a big transition for me going from Buffalo to Philadelphia, 1977. Big Sabres fan. So my father gets me tickets, and we go, and we're sitting in the 700th level at the Spectrum.
Yeah. Right.
And they're playing the Sabres. And I proceeded to cheer for the Sabres. Not a good idea, especially when you're up in the 700 levels.
Not in that
environment.
Not in that era, no.
At the end of that game, I quickly became a Philadelphia Flyer fan, and I knew what real hockey is all about.
Kate Smith came up, hit him with his purse, and converted him.
It's funny. The Devils, they still wear those green pants?
No, they're gone.
They're gone, right?
You know what?
They're gone. You know they're gone.
You were intimidated.
No,
you were intimidated into becoming a Flyer fan.
No, even worse was when Gretzky had how many goals he had? He destroyed Peters, and we had the long pants.
Yeah, they keep showing that.
They keep showing that over and over on this network. When I'm back in Los Angeles. I'm on the set. I go on my trailer. I got this network on. It's all I listen to it, and I just see the Flyers,
the
long pants going
right.
down, and it's. I just have to shake my
head.
And
Gretzky was like shooting from like center ice and scoring.
Hey, it's a blue line shot. It's one of those. It's a bobblehead Biron shot, what I would call it, man, or it's a Roman Hackmonic. It can't deal in between the pipes. And LA was so excited they got him. I said I couldn't wait to get rid of him.
You are a hockey fan then. When you know that like the LA Kings just like. I don't know if I could say they got screwed, but they're screwed themselves. I guess I could say it now. I said it, but you knew that LA was like they're thinking, "Oh, we got Checkmonic." You knew what was coming.
I knew what was coming.
Yeah,
I felt their pain.
Andy Murray told coaches are very rare to tell the media like anything truthful, even when they try to pretend like they were friends. They never want to. They always want to mislead you. And Andy Murray told me one day, he's like, "This goaltender's terrible." I was like,
horrible.
30 games in, I'm like, well, okay.
He was right.
He was right. He wasn't kidding.
But when we do have the Ron Hextall was a fantastic competitor. He had passion for the game. Yep. I mean, I used to love him in his early days. He'd just go after the guy behind the net, and
We just talked about Hextall today because it's the 19th anniversary of his scoring a goal in the playoffs against the Washington Capitals. It's kind of apropos. They played the
pretty
Caps
interesting. We're playing the Capitals
there
tonight.
There you go.
Yeah.
A little bit of a coincidence.
It's funny. I mean, everyone's picking the Capitals.
That's right.
That's fine. We have 7 20-goal scorers on our team.
You have a lot of them.
Right. Okay, and I understand our defense is a little thin.
Yeah.
There's some areas we need a better.
Talk about bobblehead and goal.
Look, I think
Marty
it's
Biron,
love him, but you know what? I think it's time for him to either step up,
rise up,
make the transition as a number one goaltender, and say, I can hang. This is my first year as the leading goaltender in the playoffs. Let me make a mark for myself. He had two great games going into the playoffs.
That's right, he did.
Two shutouts, right?
Yep.
So. It's either do or die, I think, for him in this situation. In a lot of ways, if I look at it that way.
Well, there's that way, and then I think you're playing with house money because everybody in the world thinks the Capitals are going to win this series. There is a motivator,
except for me.
Right, but as a fan, but just because you've got the Capitals red hot, they make the Cinderella run into the playoffs, and instead of being an 8 seed, they're a division winner and a 3 seed with home ice with tons of kids.
Yeah.
I just think you go into this series and say, you know what, let's just have some fun. As you said, 7 20-goal scores. You're giving him the Ovechkin doll, so maybe he can put a hex on it.
That's interesting. It's funny because I think the Colorado Rockies had that same kind of thing going in, wasn't
it? The World Series.
Yeah, and then what happened to them?
They got swept.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bring it,
So you're
brother.
calling for a sweep.
No, I'm not going for a sweep. I think it's going to be a hard series. I think it's going to be a physical series. I think Philadelphia's going to want to set the tone in the first game. It'd be great to get the first game out of the way and win the first game in Washington. I mean, they've been off. It's great. We have all this time off. It helps our club. They have some time to rest and, do little promos and, for the NHL.com and say it's all about the ice and who wants it more.
That's right.
Meanwhile, back in Philadelphia, we're thinking about, bringing up the GOAT.
Why not?
Thinking about beating somebody senseless.
No, it's so bad, isn't it?
It's
such a love-hate relationship. Look, I think that it's going to be a good series. I'm excited about this series of all the series. And when's the last time they faced each other in playoffs? When was that? It was a while ago. It was a long time ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Old Patrick Division rivals here, the Capitals and Flyers.
All right, real quick. what is your best moment as a Philadelphia Flyer fan?
There are a lot of them.
Okay.
Going to the Spectrum and my father being able to take me to the Spectrum and sit in the Spectrum seats and watch Bobby Clark skate and Bill Barber. And it was Bill Barber when he scored his 1,000th point or goal, and all the little the little banners came down, everything was falling. There's just to be able to see those players in action. Pelle Lindbergh. I
Great
thought was probably
goaltender.
one of the. It was an unbelievable, sad story. What happened?
Tragic story. Yeah.
I remember when that news came in, and I gave that news to my father. I was, in grade school. I was paving my driveway, and I said, "Dad, Pelle Lindbergh just died." And my dad was like, he couldn't speak.
Yeah.
And that turn in Philadelphia is so dangerous and treacherous, and it was a sad thing.
Yeah,
So
for those who don't remember, Pelle Lindbergh was a great goalie. Played with the Flyers, had a terrific couple, I think 1 or 2 years there, and then he got in a tragic car accident. He had like a sports car or something.
Porsche.
Yeah, it was a Porsche, major souped-up Porsche, and it was a horrible accident. And it's hard to say. I mean, there's so many moments at this with the Flyers, even when we were playing Tampa Bay. And the year that we possibly could have gone to the Cup.
Your
All
yap.
right, listen,
Shut
and
your
don't
yap.
start with me right now, okay? Because I will.
Remember that, though? That was good.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That was good. Shut your yap.
And it was Game 6, and we came back, and he scored that. What's his name? Scored that goal. Our boy there.
Primo?
Primo scored the goal.
He was so good in that series.
With
In that
literally
whole
like 3 seconds left or something. The house just erupted. It was maddening. So I went downstairs to the locker room, and I went in. Desjardins wasn't playing the series because he was injured, and then JR came out with this ice pack on his shoulder that must have been the size of – it was huge. It was a mountain. And I could just tell by then they gave so much of their heart on the ice that for that game that I just knew Game 7 wasn't going to happen, but Game 6 was something special. Because it just showed the determination, the heart, and the passion of Philadelphia Flyer hockey. And, there are a lot of people saying, hey, Washington's going to take this series. It's going to be a no-brainer. Ovechkin, granted, I agree. The best player in the NHL right now. He's an unbelievable talent. He's great for the game. The NHL wants to see Washington go deep in the playoffs for marketing status. But, I think the Flyers have to make a point right now. And they will. And it's going to be great to see Timonen. I think he's going to be a key player in this series.
Yeah. Well, he's one of those guys. We've talked about him all year. I look at him, he's a cure-all. He's one of those guys, he shows up on the ice or shows up in your team, and all of a sudden some of the problems you had are gone because he's such a quietly effective player. And I think it's going to be a long series. I said Washington in 7, but I think it's going to be a long series. And by saying that, it could easily what I say is it could easily go the other way.
I get so even when we're on the bubble and looking on. The possibility of us not making the playoffs.
Yeah, but you made it.
I was in fits
last
week.
10-game losing streak at one point in February, right?
I turned into you guys to get some insight and some Philadelphia love.
And what do we do? Turn on you.
You do.
I don't think that's the case.
I know. No, you're very informative, and I love that because it gives me insight somewhat into my club.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, listen, it's been a great year for the Flyers. I mean, last year, dead last, right? Hit rock bottom. This year, a lot of moves in the offseason, off to a good start. You've had a lot of injuries. I mean, let's face it, Simon Gagne's playing. Maybe you guys are even further up the standings. He's been out. The goaltending has been, as much as we love Marty Biron, it has been, he's had moments when he's been great. He's had moments when he hasn't been so good. And Charon Inamaki's come in. He's been up and down as well. On the whole, I think you have to look at big picture. The big picture is you were dead last year. Now you're in the playoffs, and you got a chance. You're going against Washington, a great series. Like Donnie says, house money as far as everybody thinks the other team's going to win. I think that's a great rallying cry in that room. Mike Richards and those guys, they're going to be saying, hey, everybody's against us.
Damn, bring it on. Hartnell, let's see what happens.
Hartnell's terrific.
That Prospal deal was a good deal, too, for the team down the stretch to be able to get him from Tampa Bay.
He plays really well with Danny Briere.
Yeah, and it's really worked together.
I hope his knee's okay. I don't know what is going on with
Danny
Briere's
Briere.
now.
Yeah, he
Route
says.
2 is cheap.
Yeah.
It's cheap. It's cheap player, cheap hit. I disagree.
Let me ask you this. If he was on the Flyers, would you feel the same way?
No.